Howdy. Oh, Jake, you're number one in our hearts. Always.
What a great way to start the show. I'm muted, and now I'm back. Hi, Jake, you're gorgeous. Iverson, Bacon, Chief, what's good?
That is amazing. How you
You know what?
doing?
I don't
How's it
care. We're
going?
saving that. That's going on YouTube. That's going to be a great way to start the show. I'm happy. I'm excited.
It's
That
confirmed.
energized me. Bringing out the steak as well. Steak and bacon.
Ooh,
Fantastic. Yes. All right.
steak and oh, the ham. The you
Yeah.
never knew ham.
The ham. It looks like steak to me. It looks delicious. And there's Benji. What up, Benji? What up, what up? And let me just make sure everything is set up properly. Chief, do it.
Sweet.
To advance the week. Okay. This is not the time for that,
Hey
Iverson. This is
guys, I
football
did it.
talk. This is
I
football talk.
oh, just really quick. Just really quick. I did it.
Woo, someone coming in. Someone coming in. Oh, I don't have my notifications on this side. Ah! It's okay. Someone came in. Thank you so much for
Chat.
that. I don't know why it's not there, actually. It should pop up on this side still. Oh well, I'll figure it out later. Make sure I get everything set. Hey, no, none of that. You and Matt need to start whining. This is football talk. Ah, everybody, football talk. Okay, here we go. What do we want to start with? We want to start with Thursday Night Football? It was Mrs. Dark coming through. Hello, good afternoon. First off, let me say I'm sorry, Mrs.
Oh,
Dark, for the Stars losing in the NHL Stanley Cup. This is football talk, not hockey talk, but I do want to apologize for that. I know you're a fan.
oh,
Ah, anyway,
sad.
so starting this week off with shoot. I don't even know. Do you want to start with the news, or you want to start with just the games first?
Oh, we can start with the games.
All right,
That's
let's
all I
start.
have to say about Thursday. What the, like, what, who, where, why? All right, why doesn't Fitzpatrick just do this all the time? He wouldn't be bouncing around team to team.
I mean, that's exactly why he's bouncing team to team. Is he's Fitz magic? You know, it's a little pouch he has in his hands, and it works about probably 2 or 3 games of the year, and then he goes and like flops for about another 2 or 3 games, and then he comes
He
right back.
can't use it all.
He uses it all. That's the problem.
In one,
And over time,
he can't use it all
if
in
you
one
look at
game.
him, if you
He's
look
got
at
to
him
sprinkle it.
if you look at him properly and just a little bit with the beard that he's grown, he does look a little bit like a bearded mage with that magic powder he has. I'm just saying. He
It's a
gets.
wizard.
You're a wizard, Ryan. uh, um. So back to the
I mean,
back
yeah,
to the
I'm.
time. I mean, just the whole
Go
Dolphins
ahead.
team stepped up there. The whole Dolphins team, and freaking. Unfortunately, the Stash just had a bad game. I mean, what was it? 3 picks he had. It was nutty.
Minshew?
Yeah, in the game against the Dolphins.
No, Minshew only had one interception.
Oh,
That's
some
like that's what pissed me off about the whole thing. He couldn't produce. He went 275 yards with no touchdowns.
which again
I
was
mean, Robinson ran it in a couple times, but still, like you gotta with those yards, you gotta produce more.
this is
I'm
true.
talking about that with every quarterback.
Every quarterback ever. Yep, and that's why I'm always saying stuff about Baker and about which we'll get to that. Don't worry. But about Baker, about all these guys who are quarterbacks, they that produce these excuse me decent numbers. But then when you look at that second part of the stats, where it's interception touchdowns, it's very minuscule or one-sided in a bad way, and it's like, no, don't want that. And oh no, Gardner Minshew gave up a fumble as well, so that's why I said he had 2 or 3 interceptions. He had an interception and a fumble that was given
Oh,
up.
okay, you're correct.
And like you said, pretty much coming down here, Yeah, pretty much this whole game, like, otherwise was top pretty much back and forth. This like pretty much on point with each other, but Miami just getting it done with the touchdowns and stepping up on defense when needed. And
Here comes my absolute favorite game of the week.
let's do it.
Bears versus Falcons.
Yeah.
Bear Town. So excited. Oh my
Hey,
god.
and honestly, I've called it. I don't care who was there, who was not there. I've said it millions of times. How if Jacksonville just stops losing? You know what, Jake? I don't need your negativity in my chat talking about them losing. Okay, you don't disrespect the stash. Okay, he doesn't lose. He has setbacks. He'll be back. Don't worry. He'll be this next week.
You don't respect or you you respect the stash, but you don't
It was the
disrespect the
stash.
beard.
Okay, this week was stash versus the beard, and I mean, I gotta agree, the beard's always gonna beat the stash. I mean, look at this. You cannot have this beating this. You just can't. The stash is too powerful, or the stash is not that powerful compared to the beard. Damn it. Anyway, back to Chicago versus Atlanta. Nick Foles is underrated as a quarterback, and it pisses me off that he finally gets to start and goes, "Oh, hey, look, guys, I can throw 3 TDs just as well as freaking Trubisky, who had 3 quarters, only got 1 fucking touchdown." Or however long Trubisky played.
Which which is why he is now the starting quarterback.
Exactly. And I am excited to see Nick Foles start for Chicago. Even though they won, the last 3 games straight, so they are 3-0, I still think that the move to Nick Foles was definitely and is definitely going to be a better set for them than Trubisky ever was for this year anyway. And hard to disagree. Stash can rule with enough ever. You need this, okay? This is that extra. You need that extra, okay? I'm just saying, it's
I
gorgeous.
mean, but just also, I mean, not to take away from Foles in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But what the fuck, Falcons defense?
Going back to, let us take a look here. So after the third quarter, you had the Falcons up 26-10, ladies and gentlemen. Let me repeat that just in case you didn't hear me properly. 26-10.
16-point lead in the fourth quarter.
Just 2 touchdowns to hold them. But you know what? This is the Falcons we're talking about. They let everything happen. So here comes the Bears. 20 points in the fourth quarter. Bam! They win the game. I'm just saying though, like, just I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know who you blame here. I'm starting to look at the coaching staff. I mean, I want to say the players, but I mean, how do you have the players play so well through 3 quarters of play, and then the last quarter, like, was there a coaching adjustment? Was there something like?
I mean, it can't just be one aspect of it. Like that's my opinion. Is like it can't just be the coaches and like or just the players or just the quarterback or just the defense. Like it is a combination of everything just for some reason not working out and not lining up. I mean, do they just get comfortable and then they're like, don't worry about it and just can't get the juice back? Like, then you just need to stop getting comfortable.
I mean, something though. I mean, like seriously, how do you as Atlanta, like literally the last 3 weeks, pretty much give up over I want to say almost 70 points in just the second half. Like the first half, you were doing your defense looks stout as shit, but in the second half, over 3 weeks, you've given up 70 points. Like holy shit.
I mean, if they're doing this in an attempt so that everyone forgets about 28-3, I mean, it's working.
I mean,
Barely,
I mean,
but it's working.
to a point. I mean, if they're really trying to like get people past that, I don't think they're getting past that. I think they're more like jumping on it. They're like, this is the third time. Holy shit! Like it's just it doesn't look good. Right now, like a lot of people are blaming Dan Quinn. A lot of people want to see a revamp in the coaching staff. I'm sure Matt Ryan's next if they're going for anyone's head. It's just all bad right now in Atlanta. They need to get points, and then their defense needs to just stop. Just there you go. Just that's all you need to do. Just one.
They need to start stopping.
Stop. Like the guy's running. Stop. Just tackle. Okay, that's all you gotta do. I mean, you can't just clap and tackle, but you have to actually tackle. I don't know what's going on. Ugh. And my guy, Mr. Possible MVP, Josh Allen, coming up next with the Bills. Still doing good. Loved it.
Jeez.
And Josh Allen here, first player this. Actually, no, sorry, I lied. One of the top two players to reach 1,000 yards this year passing. I actually just learned this yesterday. Who the other one person was. We'll get to that. And barely beating the Rams, 35 to 32. You know what? I definitely was a closer game. I give Rams props because I thought the Bills were going to just smack the shit out of them in their hometown. But you know what? They stayed in it. Josh Allen, like I said, had a phenomenal game. That's right, I said phenomenal because he had 24-33, 300 plus yards, 4 touchdowns, 128 rating. Holy shit.
Yeah, an absolutely amazing game. I'm calling it now. I mean, he's not even in the conversation, but Josh Allen is my long shot MVP.
Yep. I'm considering him as definitely a possibility for MVP. And, I know that, everyone, like already you guys freaking, woo, another one coming in. Thank you so much for that, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in with that. But like I said, with the Bills, yeah, Josh Allen. I mean, he's just I don't know what happened to him this year, but he is showing up for his team. He is taking his team to the playoffs in 3 games so far. But obviously, I'm not gonna say it yet. I'm not gonna say, oh well, that's it. Ooh, there's another one.
Did COVID make Josh Allen stronger?
You need to stop that, right? We're not gonna get in. Speaking of which, just
I'm giving,
you want to bring up COVID,
giving you catchy headlines for your YouTube videos.
I'm just saying. No problem. Thanks for so much. Hey, thank you there, Rooster. I appreciate you, man. Again, thank you so much for that. And honestly, if you want to talk about the COVID thing, actually pretty serious news today that we saw. 8 players from was it just Tennessee or both Tennessee and Minnesota? But
it was Tennessee. It was
okay.
2 or 3 players and 5 staff.
So yeah, so 8 people total on the
But
entire
all in the Titans organization right now.
On the Titans organization after this last game with the Vikings. 8 people tested positive for COVID. So this is a scary thing to see as football fans that me and Chief saw because for us, I mean, for us all as fans, COVID already has stopped so much stuff this year as is, and third weekend you're already seeing 8 people get caught with COVID in a game. I mean, I would say like this is definitely a warning call that if he starts getting worse.
Just because I like saying it this way, per my sources, I believe what they're going to do is move the Steelers bye week. They're gonna or they're gonna be moving a couple of bye weeks around just to fit games. So I think what they were saying is, oh, sorry, I believe the Titans play the Steelers next week. This week now. Yeah, so they're talking about them having to postpone it this week and then like them take their bye next week, and in order for them to shuffle the schedules around, I'm a little bit confused on the matter, and I'm sure they're going to word it better than I can, but I know something is in the works to make everything still run smoothly.
And I don't think it's about hearing better or anything like that, or wording better, because I think you worded just fine. It's just more about, like you said, just the whole situation itself. It's really it's a very touchy matter, as I mean, lack of a better word, because already, like I said, we started the season just fine the first 2 weeks, and now we're looking at the third week, and 8 people caught or tested positive for COVID in just one organization. So now that ain't much, and that's one organization, so that's still treatable, and we should still be okay with that. But for me, my worry is if this next week comes up, all of a sudden you got like 3 teams with like even 2 or 3 players on 3 separate teams testing positive. I feel like that's gonna give cause for concern to the NFL, and they're gonna want to either shut down or have like you said, a hiatus of like 1 to 2 weeks of non-playing. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, we could probably deal with 1 to 2 weeks of no football, but I mean, it could affect the season as well. That's just how I feel about it.
Um, I mean, I go crazy in the off season. I don't know what I would do if no. This is a much
More,
different thing.
more
Um,
replays, more replays.
yeah, I mean, give me some replay. As long as, and obviously when we get to this, it was last night's game, but as long as they don't replay last night's game, I'm
Yeah,
good. You can
yes,
replay any other game.
especially for Atlanta. I don't think
But we'll
Atlanta.
get to that.
I
We'll
don't
get
think.
to that.
I don't think Atlanta needs any more replays of their games anymore. I think. I think we need to show Atlanta like the '90s videos or some of Atlanta or during Mike Vick's days, just to make them be to make them think about their organization a little bit better right now. All right, moving on
Think
from.
about what they did.
Ooh, now it's my turn to step up. Next game, Washington versus Cleveland. Now let me tell you guys something about this Washington versus Cleveland game. First off, Cleveland had a hell of a day, just just picking on the Redskins, or excuse me, Washington football team. Washington football team, no name, no name, and you go in here, and I'm just looking like, like I said, you got Nick Chubb, 19 of 100 plus yards, 2 touchdowns, doing the low Kareem Hunt couldn't do. And like he ran more than the entire freaking Washington team did. Like the team for Washington ran 22 for 103 yards. Nick Chubb said, "Yo, I got this." 19 for 108. I mean, just showing up.
Nick Chubb said, "Yo, I got
I'm
this."
just saying. He said, "Let me get an extra 5 yards just for shits and giggles." I'm just saying. And you got the receiving on both sides looking decent. I mean, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham both getting 4 catches each. And let me tell you why it's only 4 catches each in just a second. Going through all this, everything looks pretty much hunky dory. Everything looks smooth except for this right here. So first, let me look at this. Washington, so kicking and punting, I put them both together. Okay, so Washington with 3 drives had 0 points because they punted 3 times. Cleveland on 7 drives, 5 punts, 2 field goals, got 6 points. That's 7 drives for 6 points for Cleveland. That's shit. And let me tell you, they had 3 interceptions on Haskins and 2 fumbles, 5 total turnovers, and they can amount 7 drives to 6 points. And you got Baker over here throwing 16 of 23, barely over 150 yards, 156 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I'm sorry. Like, people can say what they want about Baker. They can say, "Oh, he's like we're winning. At least we're winning." Yeah, it's not from Baker's hand. I can tell you that now. I mean, like I said, 7 drives, 6 points. Nick Chubb had 2 touchdowns on 19 carries. Your defense had 5 turnovers, and you're telling me that Baker only got 2 touchdowns at 150 yards, and they still had 7 drives amounting to 6 points. Like I said, I'm gonna keep bringing that up because Baker is not like if he didn't have Nick Chubb or that defense there, they would have lost this game to Washington. I'm gonna throw that out there. They would have lost the game. Washington would have probably had the same stats, but they would have come out with probably like a 23-20 victory. I'm just throwing that out there.
That unfortunately was the game that I missed this week. But I mean, stats wise, stats wise, I can't agree with you more. Like they fell apart.
And like I said, that's the only reason why I break down these stats is because if I miss a game, I mean, like I said, if I watch the game, I could probably see more in depthly like what the problem could have been. Could have been the O line not giving enough time. It could have been many things. But the fact that I see in stats that like Washington, who lost by 2 touchdowns, had first off 4 less drives, or I'm sorry, had 2 less punts than the Browns did, and they also had 2 less field goals. So I mean, like they didn't get close enough for the field goal, but also when they did get in the red zone, they actually had enough time to actually get a touchdown when need be. So, and also they were throwing freaking picks everywhere. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, 3 picks and all that. But the fact that you're still getting the ball in those situations and only getting 6 points on 7 drives is not a good look for your team. I'm just like that's just how I see it. You can fight me, tell me I'm wrong, Um, I'll definitely agree to disagree with you. That's it. Um, but yeah, so that's all I had to say about that. About that side, Baker needs to step up more if they're going to really be a. I mean, they're 2-1, so they are having a good start. But Baker really needs to step up if he wants to be the quarterback of the future for the Browns and actually take them farther into the playoffs. And so next up, we have the Titans and Vikings. A very, very close game.
Um, I'm really disappointed that the Vikings lost. They played their hearts out. I mean, they led both passing, they led the league in both passing and rushing player wise. Dalvin Cook 181 yards, Justin Jefferson had 175 yards, but both of them only a touchdown.
Yeah, no, and absolutely not. The reason why I can see that is, well, first off, starting with Tennessee's passing, like we were saying before about whoever it was the 275 yards. Oh, Minshew, Tannehill, 23-37, 321 yards, looks good. Looks like he should have had a great game. And then second part of the numbers, 0 TDs, 1 interception. I mean, you can't finish your drives. I mean, I'm surprised they even. Actually, I'm surprised they won this game with that kind of stats. You're right. I mean, you look at Kirk Cousins. He actually had a decent game of 3 touchdowns, but he did throw the pick, 2 picks. So I mean, that definitely is a cause for concern there. And then you got Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook going back to back, going facing each other. Dalvin Cook actually probably came away with a better yardage, whereas Henry had an extra touchdown. But Dalvin Cook, holy cow, 22 carries, 181 yards and a touchdown. Ridiculous, man. Just proving that contract's worth. I'm just saying.
Just wish you could score more.
Just exactly. Just need to get that just in the end zone a little bit more. Derrick Henry, 26, 119, 2 touchdowns. And Justin Jefferson, the other one I'm on, like, notable possible offensive player of the week for me. Like, it was for Justin Jefferson. He was actually more of a nominee. He didn't win it, but he was a nominee for me. 7 for 175 yards and a touchdown. Just sensational game for the rookie. But I will admit, someone did play a little bit harder than him, and we both already know who that is. So we'll talk about that later. And yeah, it looks like I'm just trying to see like what could have caused the 1 point. I mean, everything else looks pretty much matched on point because that's what really threw me off. Is that and this is what threw me off, and I was trying to figure out why the Titans still won when Tannehill had 0 touchdowns, whereas Kirk Cousins had 3, and it just didn't look right. Right? I found out what it was. Mr. Goskowski, 6 for 6 field goal percentage this game alone. Goskowski is basically credited for 18 of their points to win the game today. That I mean, like, that's a hell of a day for a kicker. Goodness. I mean, I,
That was an absolutely beautiful day. I
I
mean, definitely from his performance, was it 2 weeks ago now? He's just
exactly, yeah.
he was
From
pissed.
the 1-4 week he had in week 1 to 6-6 this week with a 55 long bomb as his longest. Oh my goodness! Like, talking about night and day. Oh man. All in all, that game goes to Goskowski, I would say, for the winner, but definitely Titans, again, like what we said about Mayfield, and about just definitely got lucky with that win. Need to step up indefinitely. And next, we got the Patriots just going home with the Raiders and showing them a whole nother side of New England with Cam Newton as the quarterback.
Cam Newton is absolutely killing it.
Mm. I mean, you could say that. I mean, first off, I mean, he didn't have many rush yards this week, so I mean, he was dependent mostly on his passing, which he didn't do too bad. I mean, it was pretty Pretty quiet day for Cam. 17 and 28, 162 yards and 1 touchdown. Did throw 1 pick, but just all in all, it wasn't too bad of a day. Whereas Derek Carr, 261 yards, 24-32 for 2 touchdowns. So, like I said, he didn't do too bad, but he also had his running backs step up with Sony Michel, 9 carries for 117 yards, and then Rex Burkhead came in. Even though he had 6 for 49, he had the 2 touchdowns to help keep them in this game. So definitely, I would say that New England's rushing helped secure this victory for them for sure. Looking down here, just yeah, Derek Carr. Even though he was hitting some targets, he was missing a good amount. He really liked Hunter Renfrow, his tight end, this one, but didn't just was not looking outside of the wide receivers very often, which as a quarterback you kind of need to do. Even though Cam Newton on the other side had to do the same thing with Rex Burkhead, his main wide receiver, 7 catches for 49 yards. So yeah. Oh, and it also helps when your defense gets you 3 fumbles recovered to keep your offense going. So whatever they can do for you. So all in all,
Definitely not a bad day in New England. That is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm hating what I'm seeing. I'm. I mean, it is just going to prove that Belichick can just work with whatever he's given. He can pick up somebody 3 weeks before 3 weeks before games start and still be okay.
They'll be fine, and especially no preseason either. Like 3 weeks before the season starts, and all they got was 3 weeks of spring training, and in comes Cam, like a little rusty, but I'm still winning games, so no big deal. And especially, or even like not even just winning games, but even though he lost to the Seahawks last week, I mean Seahawks, playing as they are right now, I mean the fact that they lost by only a touchdown and almost tied it with that run, that was just a bad play call by the coaching staff. Otherwise, I mean last week the Patriots played their socks off, and I mean like I said, if Cam Newton being on a new team against a team that like where it has like Russell Wilson's been there for 8 plus years and he still put up the numbers he did to try to get his team to win. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Cam, and like I said, still enjoying this humbling Cam Newton that we've seen lately over the one we saw in Carolina. So definitely enjoying that as well. And next we got the Niners and the Giants, which
Giants stink.
I mean, let's just put a coffin on the Giants season and nail that bad boy shut. Say our last goodbyes and just
Dude,
like let's move on to the draft for them.
drop that in the grave. Put the dirt on top. Let the grass grow. Visit it once a year in memorandum. Because holy shit.
Make sure you tip the pastor on the way out too, because yeah, he's we need to make sure they get sent off safely. This was just a beatdown all around. Nick Mullins had a great day passing. He only got a touchdown, but he had 25 of 36 for 343 yards. Ridiculous amount of yards. He looks like a freaking Matt Flynn for the Niners right now, just stepping up as a backup. Never really made as a starter, but could be a backup. Let's just put that out there. And the running backs, each one got a touchdown each. I mean, they didn't get much for yards, but they got 3 touchdowns, which is what they needed in the end zone. And just like I said, and then San Francisco recovered 2 fumbles. I mean, just an utter beatdown. Giants are done this year unless they do something differently, which they aren't. So,
I mean, here's the thing. If they were playing the 49ers, and like normally I would see this score and be like, all right, I get it. It's the 49ers against the Giants. I mean, the Giants should have held their own a little bit better, but
a little bit.
The fact that how many players do the 49ers have out right now? They're missing their they're missing their number one running back. They're missing their quarterback. They're missing their tight end. They're missing a wide receiver. They're missing how many defensive players? They're missing a left end. Like, what are they running on? Fourth, fifth strings right now, and they put a beating on this bad? Like, kudos to them,
I
but
mean, you gotta
Jesus
look at the
Christ,
Giants.
Giants.
I mean, unfortunately, you gotta look at the Giants too, like that. Saquon Barkley is out for the year too. So yeah, they lost their like star running back, and then if you look at the quarterback, he's still. It's like,
But is that like is that your whole team though?
well, no, I'm saying like,
Saquon.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. The Saquon, essentially, I mean, that's what you gotta remember. The Giants were doing like once Eli was retiring, they drafted Daniel Jones, who they thought was going to be a better quarterback. And since he's not proven himself, like Sam Darnold in New York Jets, I mean, they went out and got Le'Veon Bell for the Jets. I mean, the Jets were like, well, shit, Darnold's not doing anything. We need something. Maybe Le'Veon Bell could step up, which he hasn't. I'm going to say it now. But, I mean, and then with the Giants, it's like, like I said, now that Saquon's gone, you're trying to rely more on your quarterback, Daniel Jones. And it's Daniel Jones. I mean, I want to give him more credit where it's due, but he's just not. He's not. Him and Sam Darnold the same. They're not the guy that like. They need to take chances. They're not taking. They're literally playing like the safe number game. Which I'm sorry. Like you
And I
look at
mean, and Devontae Freeman only rushing for 10 yards. Like, I mean, that
exactly.
was very disappointing.
Exactly. You went out and signed this guy for a 1 year, $3 million deal, which is cheap for Devontae Freeman. He even said he took less money because he felt New York was the place to be, and you only gave him 5 carries for 10 yards the whole game. Like, I mean, he had Daniel Jones run the ball the same amount of times for 49 yards because he was on a freaking, he was wide open because he was trying to throw a ball deep downfield. No one's covering Daniel Jones. But it's like, you got to run the ball more with Devontae Freeman. You got to give him more touches. And as a quarterback, you can't be throwing 17 to 32 and getting out freaking numbered that badly as a quarterback to a freaking second string quarterback in Nick Mullins. I'm just saying. Like you gotta step up. You're the starting quarterback of this team. You gotta make some plays. Throw the freaking ball. I mean, yeah, you got an interception, so maybe you try to somewhere, but you gotta throw the freaking ball. Get it downfield. Like this shit right here, where I've seen 5 for 36. You have Colton Day, 5 catches, 36 yards, and like, why? Like you literally what? You 7 yards a carry. Oh, good. That's great. I'm glad he caught freaking 5 catches only for like not even half of a freaking football field. You got to make plays downfield. You got to bomb that shit. You need to just not be afraid to play the football game, dude. Like, I'm just like I don't know what else to say. That's how I feel. I mean, people want to get Brett Favre. It's like the whole thing with Brett Favre. Guy had the most touchdowns for a while before he was beaten, and he also had the most interceptions. Babe Ruth had the most home runs for a while, also had the most strikeouts. You gotta step up and not be afraid to take those shots. And even if you do mess up on those shots, you gotta still go for it. Feel like a coach over here. Here we go, Coach Jets in the building. I'm ready. Let's go. Get me going. Hire Jets. Hey, if Adam Gate, whatever his name is, Adam doesn't work. Hey, I'm ready. Let's go. And here we go. Here's our frustrating game of the week: Bengals, Eagles. 0-2 teams coming into this week. Very exciting because me and Chief here we're like, okay, somebody needs a dub here. Somebody needs to take that donut and change it to a maple bar. We need this shit happening real quick. We need that one. And what happens? Overtime, tie game, both teams walking away 0-2-1. Chief, walk me through it.
I was just, I mean, when you got an offensive line that apparently can't stop shit and gives up 8 sacks, when your quarterback's throwing for 312 yards and just
no interceptions either on 8 sacks. He had no interceptions.
No interceptions.
And whereas you look on the other side, Wentz had 2 on 3 sacks. Just saying.
I mean, just this game hurt my soul. And just poor fucking Joe Burrow. This boy is playing his heart. If he was in almost any other situation right now.
Oh.
I mean, minus the Giants. I don't know if God himself could save the Giants.
If he and Baker Mayfield traded spots right now with the Browns the way they are and the weapons he has on the Browns, 3-0 team.
I would put money right now on the Browns to win the Super Bowl.
3-0 team right now.
Right now. I would just put money on it.
Joe
Like,
Burrows would have more yards. He'd be on like par with Russell Wilson and Josh Allen. I'm throwing it out there. If he was one of the Browns, he would be on par with Russell Wilson, Josh Allen. ESPN would be having OBJ day every day because they'd be like all over that kid again, and it would just be a mayhem. I'm just saying, he like him on the
I mean,
Bengals, like he's still putting the drive in, the numbers in. But then you look at Joe fucking Mixon, who, like you said, the O line just ain't helping. But he 17 carries and 49 yards. This guy has a 2.9 average for the whole 3 week season we've had. Joe, you Mixon, you signed a contract for 12 million a year. I don't care if you have bunnies as your fucking O line. You make shit happen. You are getting paid 12 million a year to run the ball. Okay? Oh, but my O line isn't blocking me. You're making 12 million a year, Joe. Make it
run
happen.
around your O line.
Like, just make, like, if you have to, make your O line literally just stand there like brick walls and just, like he said, around them if you need to. But Jesus Christ, Mixon, I don't feel bad if you go that bad. You are getting paid 12 million a year, sir. Get shit done. All right.
I mean, Philly does like to play the rush game, but like you need to know that going into the game. Like, all right, they are going to blitz the shit out of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, line, you need to toughen up this game.
And I mean, honestly, like I said, I'm looking at the numbers. Everything is pretty much on par with each other. Um, like Cincinnati and Philadelphia had literally like Cincinnati had 10 drives with 9 points only. That's it. Philadelphia had 9 drives with 9 points. I mean, they were just neck and neck the whole game. The only problem, I think, like I said, the only thing I saw differently that really stood out is the rushing game, where Cincinnati didn't even rush for 50 yards. They rushed for 48 yards total. And the Philadelphia rushing game was 175 yards with 1 touchdown. Like, I mean, Mixon, like, you run the ball and you get a touchdown. Guess what? You're ahead 30-23. You guys win. I'm like, like you said, my soul hurts. I'm pissed. I'm blaming Mixon. I'm saying he needs to step up. Even with that O line, they need to figure some shit out. Figure it out. And we're looking
Joe
at the.
Burrow, I hope you get a good wide receiver next year.
I hope they draft a running back. That's my hope. Like, yes, he needs wide receivers, but you know what,
They need both.
Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd
Sorry.
looks. You're good. Tyler Boyd looks really good actually this year. I'm not fronting him. He actually is stepping up pretty nicely for that team. But like I said, running back wise, like after even like if this is how Mixon's going to be after signing the contract, I'd be looking to the draft and being like, Joe, it's been a pleasure. We're sending you to Atlanta, where all former good running backs go to die. Oh, I remember that name, by the way. So, Todd Gurley, he's the reincarnation of Eddie Jackson. That was his name.
Okay.
Number 39 for the Rams back in the day. Big head, big old back. Was a power rusher. Went to Atlanta, and he disappeared. No one's seen him again. But next game we got going on, and I still feel bad because I called Texans to win this one. Steelers, they're at home. They said, you know what? No, we're gonna win this one. Big Ben stepping up. 3-0. Steelers are still going good.
I mean, they are my team's, they are one of my team's rivals, but I got to give it to Big Ben. He's killing it this season. I mean, he's being consistent. He hasn't put up any ridiculous numbers, but he's being consistent and just keeping the ball going.
Exactly. And honestly,
0 interceptions.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sorry, 0 interceptions, and he's. Like I said, for me, I'm still just gonna say real quick. I still see him retiring after this year. Like, just watching when he plays. I mean, he gets downfield. Don't get me wrong, but he just looks sluggish. Like, he just looks like he's gonna go in the freaking locker room after the game's over and just ice the crap out of every part of his body. Like, he just looks like he's like running on creaks and whistles, stuff like that. He's barely moving on. And Deshaun Watson, I mean, didn't have a bad game, but that O line for Houston, and besides Laramie Tunsil, who's a freaking great left tackle, it's kind of like Seattle when we have Walter Jones. One good player is not going to make up for the four bad players. So I'm sorry. And Houston proved it with Watson, like I said, 264 yards, 1927, two touchdowns. Did throw a pick, but he was sacked 5 times as well. So I mean, yeah. And then you got the running game, who didn't even get 30 yards. They had 29 yards on 15 carries today, and one touchdown because they were in the red zone. But like, they're 29 yards on 15 carries. You didn't even make 2 yards a carry in this game. Like, that's 4 quarters up. That's just terrible. That's just downright just horrible. And I don't know if I blame the running backs. I don't know if I blame. I'm pretty sure 100% I want to go after whoever the O line coach is and say you need to fix this shit right now because this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know. What's your opinion on that?
Oh no, I agree completely with you on that one. Like it's something is not working right with the offense. I mean, the defense kind of the same thing though. I mean, the defense isn't doing terrible. I mean, they're still, you know, 2 sacks, a couple of tackles for losses, but not, I mean, only 3 tackles for losses. So kind of in the same area. Like, what is the defense not doing that they need to? I mean,
I mean, exactly. And looking at it right here too, you got you know both of them having 6 drives where they either kicked a field goal or punted. Houston punted 6 times, whereas Pittsburgh punted 4 with 2 field goals. So they had 6 points more than Houston did on those 2 times, and I mean it just shows in the scoreboard at the end. So I mean, just Houston needs to work on that running game and O line. That's their like Achilles freaking. I want to just say Achilles like chest or something because like it's not even just a heel anymore. It's like a big target that it looks ugly. It really does. And we got our next game here, which is went on from Houston to Pittsburgh for the Jets and Indy, which I gotta say I'm happy about this game. I went out last week for my fantasy, got the Colts defense. I said, you know what, let's play them against the Jets. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a good game. They got me 28 fantasy points because they got 3 interceptions, 2 for touchdowns, and 2 sacks. Whew.
that stink.
The Jets, there's
Jets stink.
the nicer way of putting it.
There's not. New York football is just it's fucking terrible this year.
both
Like,
sides, both sides, absolutely 100% agree with you on that. Like all of the state of New York is pretty much traveling outside the country right now because they're trying to find other teams to watch right now.
you go a little south, you got the Ravens right there. You go a little bit further south, you got Washington. They're gonna have a cool new name,
go
hopefully.
go a little bit to the left, or somewhere outside of New York City, you got Buffalo, which has been doing good. So I'm pretty sure a lot of them are taking road trips to Buffalo, watching the Bills play. So,
Oh, I forgot about Buffalo. That's right. That is in New York.
yeah.
Okay. Not all New York teams stink. I take
No,
that back.
the New York City teams they do, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, the New York City teams.
And so looking at this again, so you got Rivers, who I'm surprised they gave him a 125 rating, which I don't understand because he went 17 for 21, 217 yards and 1 touchdown. Which, I mean, yeah, he got 200 yards, but I mean, I'm sorry, he really he didn't do anything for them. I mean, I was like, like the defense got more
It's
touchdowns than
because
Philip Rivers.
I mean, the biggest thing is 0 interceptions, 0 sacks.
That's true, yeah, and that is very true, yeah. And that's a strong O line. I mean, the Colts have always had a strong O line since the days of Peyton Manning. They've had one of the better O lines in the NFL. So I'm not shocked by that. They just always needed like Andrew Luck to stay healthy, which he retired, and or just any of these players to just step up. And obviously Rivers. I mean, he got signed in. He has a good O line to him, but again, Rivers is not the answer. He's just temporary. And Sam Darnold, I swear, if the Jets keep him after this year, I'm signing. I'm gonna start a petition to get like Darnold needs to go. Hashtag Darnold out kind of thing. You know, like, seriously, I'm sorry, but like Darnold, you're a great, probably a great guy. You know everything else about you, but look, specifically score wise, I mean, let me just tell you real quick. Let me bring up his stats just for this year alone. Okay, like this year he has 562 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4 picks. And I mean, he's on point to be in the same way he was last year. Same thing, 61% as he was last year. Last year he had 16 touchdowns, 21 interceptions with a rating of 70.7. And he's at the same thing this year.
30 for 30.
Like, dude. Like, he legit, like.
Absolutely terrible.
Like, yeah. Yeah, it just hurts my soul, man. Technically, New York teams are from New Jersey's MetLife Stadium is in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So they're New Jersey teams, is what you're saying, Iverson.
No, they're technically New York teams. They just play in
In
New
New Jersey.
And it's like, it's about 6 minutes over the bridge. Like,
I mean, wherever you can fit the stadium, I guess, right? I think that's the main thing for them.
so, Iverson.
Iverson. Just saying. Don't. Technically, it's still a New York team. Their location of playing is elsewhere. All right, moving on from there. Panthers finally get their win. Teddy Bridgewater gets his first win as a Panthers quarterback, and they win 21-16 over the Chargers. And to be honest, it was just a quiet game. Like I'm like even just getting here,
Yeah.
just quiet.
That, like, to me, this game felt like a nice Thanksgiving game, like one that's like not too high stakes, like it's just a kind of casual rivalry, and like you just ate Thanksgiving dinner and you like sit on the couch, you unbutton your pants, and you like fall asleep to it. Like, and it's not because it was a bad game, it just wasn't necessarily exciting. It was just, a very standard, I guess, methodical game.
And just to kind of point out there, the main stats I'm looking at for this game that really stand out, like you said, like as far as for like points wise, Carolina kicking Los Angeles. Carolina's Joey Sly had 5 for 5 kicking today. Longest was 31, so obviously they kept getting the ball to the red zone, couldn't score. So Joey Sly 5 for 5 kicking today, or for that day. So 15 points were all from him, whereas the Los Angeles Chargers only had 1 field goal. So all in all, it looked like it was a Joey Sly day with 1 touchdown. With I believe so, right? 1 touchdown or the 2? Well, it's 2. Either way, he still kicked 5 field goals. My goodness.
So Joey Sly is perfect for field goals this year.
Hell of a day for field goal kickers. 6 for 6, 5 for 5. My goodness. My goodness. And then Mr. Tommy Brady with the Buccaneers rolling over the practice squad Broncos, if you will. 25 of 30.
You tell me to be nice to New York teams.
I couldn't. I was trying, but I couldn't do it. It just, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's just hard. Like I feel bad for the Broncos. I mean, they lost their running back with Beverly. With Beverly, and they lost their freaking only quarterback that they wanted to have. They had to bring out Jeff Driscoll, which I was like, why does the name sound so familiar? Because he was a part of that quarterback tandem that was in Detroit when they had that 0-16 team. Like when Stafford got hurt. Oh no, I'm sorry. Last year when Stafford got hurt, he was part of that team that didn't do so well at all. Like him and that other guy were fighting for a quarterback spot back and forth, and they couldn't get anything done for that team. And now he's on the Broncos doing the same thing for them. So you know. Tom Brady though said, "You know what? It's okay. Let's just do what we can. 3 touchdowns, 297 yards, and the no really running game on either side. Jeff Driscoll did what he could with the touchdown, but he got 17 30s, 176 yards, and a pick. Sacked 5 times for 45 yards. Yikes! And it looks like the main thing is that basically caused them to lose this one is definitely the 2 interceptions from both quarterbacks on the Broncos side, which gave them the ball back to get those touchdowns and pretty much just win this game. That's pretty much, we can see that's pretty much all that happened there. Broncos, I hope you guys figure ish out. I'm sorry. All right. Lions, Cardinals, Detroit. Stepping up.
Yeah. This game, not overly spectacular, but I did not expect the Lions to pull this one out.
Nor did I expect Kyler Murray to tragically have his game he did today. 23 to 35, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns. Looks good, but then you look at the number next to it. 3 interceptions on the day. 3. Which still, like I said, for me, is wow. Like, because Kyler Murray's had such a great year. I mean, just looking down the next part of the stats with the receiving, he's still throwing DeAndre Hopkins 10 catches, 137 yards, and the only reason why he didn't get the touchdowns is because he didn't throw to Andy Isabella, who had 2 touchdowns for them to keep them going. So, um, nothing really from the running game either side. Peterson, Kenyon Drake kind of kept up with each other about 70 yards each. I mean, no touchdowns though at all. And yeah, pretty much this is just like a back and forth game. Not really much. I would say those 3 interceptions though definitely helped the Lions win. I mean, of course they did. But definitely a huge deal to watch. Oh, the rookie Jeff Okuda got an interception, and Jamie Collins and Darren Harmon. So one of each position: cornerback, safety, linebacker. Well done. And yeah, that's pretty much all that happened there. Detroit defense. I'm gonna give them this one. They're the ones that stepped up and really carried this team to get the win.
Absolutely. I know you're excited
Who's
about
the
this next one.
who's the Lions? Get out of here, and see that rooster you whispered me. Oh, you're almost there, brother. You're almost there, man. You'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get you there. I believe in you, brother. I believe in you. Let me see. Okay, back to here. Next one you said I'll be excited for. Let me see.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yes, we
yeah.
got Dallas
Oh yeah.
versus Seattle.
Ah, Russell Wilson. I mean, just Russell freaking Wilson. Which, sorry, just saw some by the way. I almost forgot because I totally forgot they signed him. But as much as he was
Breaking
bad,
news.
well, just as much as he was terrible in in Denver, I still think that what's his name, Joe Flacco is a better fit right now for the Jets than Sam Darnold is. I think that Joe Flacco needs some reps in with the first team, and then you consider putting him in over Darnold this year just to get a better quarterback in. Even though I'm not saying that he's the best quarterback, I'm just saying he's better than Darnold for the Jets. Now, back to this game. Russell Wilson, 27-40, 315 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 sacks for 20 yards, 130.7 rating. Russell Wilson leading the league right now with 14 touchdowns on the year, 14 with 1 interception. He hasn't reached 1,000 yards yet, like Josh Allen did, or this other guy who's actually we're gonna talk about next. But he's still putting up some good numbers at 940 yards, and like I said, 14 touchdowns, one interception. On the other side, the other 1,000 yard, actually the number one player with the most passing yards at 1,100 passing yards is Dak Prescott, which makes sense. 37-57, 472 yards, three touchdowns, but he did throw two picks. One of them being the game clincher. And hell of a game though, right here. Honestly, like I said, like we called it. It was a nail biter to the end. I mean, Dak Prescott, like I said, him and the Cowboys had the ball going downfield to try to tie it, and just made, I don't know if it was a bad throw, bad read, what, but Seahawks cornerback Neal picked it off, end the game. Um, but besides this here, thank you there. Yeah, thank you there, Mrs. Dark, for that. That's now 7 away for Rooster. You got this, Rooster. I believe in you, buddy. Um, and I would say the rushing game too. There, sorry, I know I'm kind of still going there, Chief. The rushing game.
Oh no, this is your team.
uh, just as a non-biased source. So, like, I mean, like, and even me, I'm trying. I'm always non-biased, as you know. I always try to be. I would say the rushing game also hindered the fact that they didn't win this one. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, 14 of 34, he only had 2.5 yards to carry. I mean, he did get a touchdown, but the fact that he went 14 of 34, I mean, I even said the Seahawks, if they could hold Zeke to a short game, they would win this one. Um, but I did say they had to contain Prescott, who almost had a 500-yard game. So that being said, if Zeke gets more rushing yards, you think they have the win on this one over the Seahawks?
I I don't know if I would give them the win, but I would give them a little bit more of a chance. I mean, at least in my opinion, I mean, you were being unbiased but also, you know, stat wise, we both thought the Seahawks were going to win this one. And I mean, just not for lack of performance by Dak by any means. It's just lack of. I mean, Elliott hasn't really popped off too much this season yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if they can get Elliott going, maybe we see a different Cowboys halfway through the season.
Absolutely. And Zeke, yeah, he definitely needs to step up and start making some plays. Like I said, with him and Joe Mixon, both in the same category of, like, look, you're making millions of dollars for a certain reason. You wanted that paycheck, you better start playing for that paycheck. Hence why, excuse me for my coughs. Hence why, we talked about DeAndre Hopkins making more than pretty much most quarterbacks in the NFL, besides probably like 3 or 4 of them. But the fact that he's making 10, 8+ catches a game, last game he had 10. I mean, I'm not at all like. I mean, I was mad at first, but then after seeing these last couple of weeks, I can't be mad. He is stepping up so much for the Cardinals as a wide receiver that it's like, shoot. I mean, I spent 30 million to have that guy for 2 years. Why not? That dude's making freaking plays for me right now. But same with the Cowboys. I mean, Michael Gallup, Cedric Wilson, both having phenomenal games. 103 yards and a touchdown, and then the other one 5 for 107 for 2 touchdowns. I mean, Dak was finding his receivers pretty decently, except for Ezekiel. Again, so with running 14-34 and with catching 6 of 24 on 12 targets. So I mean, unless he's dropping passes or there's a miscommunication, I mean, that's a lot to look at. And then look on the other side for Seattle, DK Metcalf, of course, the big catches, one long 62-yard catch, 4 for 110 yards, and 9 catches for 100 yards with 3 touchdowns for Mr. Tyler Lockett, just finding his way into the end zone just multiple times. Like, all in all, just a great game. Just it came down to the wire. That's all it was. I mean, shoot, and on top of it, Seattle even punted the ball 7 times in this game, and still came out with the 38-31 victory. That's insane. That's pretty crazy to see for me.
Yeah, definitely a close game, but we both knew the Seahawks were going to come out on top on this one.
Oh yeah, I definitely felt that. Definitely felt that was going to be the case. Absolutely. I never said it was going to be a beatdown. I definitely thought it was going to be a close game. It definitely was. Excuse my yawn. Next game we have Little Iverson's going to be a little happy about this. Packers running away 37-30 against the Saints.
Raj.
The
Oh,
Reds,
Raj.
which is funny. So my brother, I was talking to him yesterday. He's a diehard Packer fan, and he he's funny a little bit because he's like wondering what the Packers are going to do with Rodgers after this year. I'm like, well, probably keep him around because he's looking good, and he keeps thinking that they're going to trade him because they drafted Love. I'm like, you do realize Rodgers was a backup for like 3 years before he became a starter, right? Like he he grew a lot under fire before he actually got to really start in the NFL. And then with Love, it's probably gonna be the same deal. And with Rogers, he came out and said his arm's feeling better. And he goes, "Yeah, that's what he says every year." I'm like, "No, no." He came out this year and was like, "No, I'm feeling like really good." Like he like did some extra different stuff to this year, and like he's actually feeling better than the other. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like Rogers, when he said that, he actually meant it, and I mean, he's showing it. Sorry, that's like what I was trying to get to. But yeah, and then you have on the other side Breeze still making plays. I mean, both of them had pretty much the exact same numbers. 283 yards for Rogers, 280 yards for Breeze, 3 touchdowns each, no interceptions at all. Yeah. In these parts, Ford honors the brave ones. Don't you be trying to play sound on me like that. And yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
one of those that.
uh, so tell me how you feel about this. Okay, so this is where I'm like again, I don't, I'm like confused about it because I'm like I don't want to say it's bad, but I also don't want to say like it's great. So Alvin Kamara 6 carries for 58 yards, Latavius Murray 12 carries for 58 yards. That's how they do. And then for receiving on the Saints side, he went for his receivers 4 catches for Emmanuel Sanders 56 yards, 4 catches Traquan Smith 42 yards. So like very low numbers for them. But he for Alvin Kamara, he threw 13 times to Alvin Kamara, 139 yards for 2 touchdowns, and it's like, and so he had like 13. He threw the ball to him 14 times, and he handed the ball off to Kamara for 6 carries. I mean, for your running back, I mean, I don't know. Is that a bit much?
You turn him into your wide receiver.
I mean, legit though. I mean, do you just like have him stand on the like? Do you like really just have him stand on the freaking line instead of having him behind you, or like, it just doesn't make sense to me why you have him as your wide receiver so much if and then like have him come back to be your running back though. It's like if you want to be your wide receiver, let him be your wide receiver. Like legit, like like I don't know, like Devin Hester or something, if or Cordell Patterson, like he was a wide receiver, but if you want to be your running back because he's got speed, let him be your freaking running back. Just but like just the way they, I don't know. I feel like throwing to Camaro when you already have other receivers, or if you're trying to like really move the ball downfield, there's a reason why you lost 37-30 if you're dumping it off to your running back 13 or 14 times. You know.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, maybe that's the game plan they're going with. Maybe that's, you know, he's
Possibly.
part of that. He's kind of that Christian McCaffrey type where he's utilized more in passing than he is the running.
Um, Little Iverson. The Cowgirls are trash, and that's coming from born and raised Texans. Screw the Cowboys. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I know the Cowboys definitely. Yeah. They got some stuff to fix. Iverson says, I'm mixed because of what happened with Hill, but let's talk about the undrafted Lazards. I will, yeah, don't worry, I'm getting that. That's why I was talking about Kamara first. I saw his numbers. We couldn't wrap up Kamara. I mean, obviously, that's what it looks like. 13 catches, 139 yards, or 149 yards, whichever I said, with 2 touchdowns as a receiver. I mean, that is a really good day for him, don't get me wrong. And then when I see 6 for 58 on 0 touchdowns for him as well, it's like, okay, so I mean, he's a multi-use back, which is really good to have. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, you know, like you have other players, and I'm not trying to say like you have to throw to other players, but I mean like dumping it off to Kamara every time is not going to get you upfield. A lot of the times, and
Very true.
that's just how I feel. But like he said, let's move on to the Packers side where Alan Lazard had the game of his life: 6 catches, 146 yards, one play being 72-yard long bomb, and again that's his touchdown run. I mean, again, here's all these guys that we were talking about that were the random people we had no idea who their name were, and it was Alan Lazard. He was in there. Marquez Valdez-Scantling was in there, and Darius Shepard is somebody who just I think he just got to Green Bay actually. But Robert Tunyon, Jay Sternberger both stepped up as tight ends. Mercedes Lewis got a touchdown, and yeah, I mean, just Rogers looking good, throwing clean balls, and I mean, just these people coming in who no one knows about, completely tearing apart the defense. So honestly, I mean, yeah, Green Bay had the advantage on this one with the mostly with the I would say definitely the passing game and the defense. You know, they stepped up and got I think a forced fumble recovery, and they had 2 less punts than the Saints did. So small numbers, but basically close game. Packers had the better advantage just by a little bit. Last but not least, I'll let you take over this one, Chief. Monday Night Football. Monday Night
Yeah,
Football.
Monday Night Football. So little bit of a disappointing week for me. Kansas City Chiefs just mopping the floor with the Ravens. I mean, they made them look silly. Lamar Jackson barely throwing over 50%. It was not a good game
Wow. Yeah,
for
I didn't even
Baltimore.
I didn't even see Lamar's numbers until now because I missed the game a little bit yesterday. But 97 total passing yards for a touchdown. That's definitely non-Lamar like. That's for sure.
I mean, we got a big boost of energy when we got that kickoff return touchdown. We were all right. This is it. We're back into it. Let's go. And then just fell apart again. Couldn't, or maybe not fell apart. Just couldn't get anything going. We were never going to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just by seeing those numbers and okay, buddy. Just by seeing those numbers and then the rushing numbers too, like Lamar had the most rushing numbers for the Ravens, 9 carries, 83 yards with no touchdowns at all for the running game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 20 for 64, and Patrick Mahomes got a rushing touchdown as well as 4 passing. So Mahomes was everywhere. McCole Hardman stepped up with 4 of 81 with a touchdown. Then with Tyreek Hill and Sherman Fisher stepped up, and let me see. Yeah, whereas the Baltimore top 2 receivers were J.K. Dobbins and Mark Andrews for 38 and 22 yards. I mean, I don't know what happened per se. Like I said, it looks like besides the fact that okay, shush your mouth. No one cares about your commercial. Anyway, like the only thing I can see is that they just held him in check. Like Lamar just wasn't getting throws out, or I mean, I don't know. I didn't see how he looked, but it's just from stats wise, it looks like he was just literally like uncomfortable back there.
And you can, I mean, credit to KC's defense is they just covered all of our defenders. Like there wasn't much or all of our receivers. There wasn't much we could do.
Yeah, I mean, agreed on that. And yeah, I mean, looks like Baltimore punted 3 times, 2 field goals, and so they had 5 possessions, reaching 5 possessions, 5 point or 6 points, and they had, whereas the Chiefs only punted and kicked 1 field goal, and so two different drives only resulting in 0 points. So yeah, it's just yeah. I mean, unfortunately, so hopefully it just like this is like their turnaround. Then, like, I mean, I know we keep saying that, but I mean, Baltimore needs to realize, like, and I just saw stats earlier today. They have been undefeated against pretty much most of the other teams in the NFL, but the Chiefs has been their like kryptonite. Their, how do you want to call it? Like anytime they face the Chiefs, they see that red, and it scares the crap out of them. So
Yeah, we are currently 0-3 against the Chiefs.
yep.
In the last few times we played them.
Whereas against everyone else, they are 21-0, pretty much.
Hey, how's it going? That's us.
Hey, how's it going? That's who we are.
Well, and I mean, in fairness, obviously, I am a big Ravens fan, so obviously I'm salty about it.
Right.
But I mean, if our first loss is to the reigning Super Bowl champions, I mean, and if it's Patty Mahomes. I mean, Andy Reid drawing up fucking plays on his face mask.
and
It's
I mean,
unbelievable.
like, it's kind of like with the Texans situation too. Like, I mean, the way they lost this week, I mean, I'm not like that was the only one that I would say like if they would have won this week, I would have said they're still a decent team because I mean the first 2 weeks going against first got the Chiefs, reigning Super Bowl champs, the Baltimore Ravens, who are pretty much like in line to be the next AFC champ slash AFC champ runner ups pretty much this year. And then they face the Steelers, who Big Ben's come back from, and pretty much on point. So I mean, like, like the fact they didn't beat Big Ben, I'm not shocked. But I'm also like, you know, like you guys just have a bad schedule, like legit. Like they're playing against a bunch of really decent teams right now. Um, but all in all, yeah, this last week, no injuries, luckily, or nothing too big from what we saw. Like it was the week before, where everyone had a torn ACL, and including their moms. And now, with this week, it's
And their moms had a torn ACL.
and now this week we have a lot of questionable, not questionable calls, but a lot of questionable, like I think just questions. I don't know why I said questionable. Let's look at it this way. There's questions like, Browns, will they be good with Baker, or will they tank a lot more? Jets, are they going to give us Sam Darnold? Are they going to stick with him? Because I saw that Flacco's actually injured for a fourth straight week. He's on an injury list or something like that. He's not even actually active to play. So,
I don't know why Flacco is still playing ball.
who knows? He's trying his best. So,
I mean, if that's what you want to call it.
um, like I said, with Jets, they need to move on from Darnold. He needs to go. Giants, I consider moving on from Daniel Jones. Maybe find someone that could be starter while he's a backup. Um, yeah, I'm just kind of going through the whole list, and yeah, pretty much. I mean, is there anything you're looking at, like for the coming up soon? Like anybody you're specifically keeping your eye on?
I mean, I'm still hoping myself, hoping that J.K. Dobbins still has a little bit more of a pop. I mean, he had that great game, 2 touchdowns his opening game. Not a whole lot of work last week, or the week before rather. but still decent for he is technically a second string running back right now. Actually, he might even be third under Gus Edwards. I'm not sure where he is in the lineup
I've heard. Yeah,
exactly,
I think
but
I think he's under Gus Edwards. Honestly, like not like lined up specifically for that, which sucks because I feel like as a rookie, he actually has potential to do more stuff for the Ravens, but it's like they want to do this rotation thing with him, and it's like, just let him run.
yeah, I do feel like that's that is something that hurts them is that I mean they have four running backs essentially, and they're trying to utilize all of them. I mean, you have Gus Edwards, Mark Ingram, J.K. Dobbins, obviously, and you have Lamar, who's running
Running
more than
quarterback,
all
man.
your other running backs.
Yep, yep. No, I agree 100%, and especially the fact you have Lamar, who's like a reincarnation of Vic. Like I thought that Russ Wilson, like being running back, quarterback, he was pretty decent. And then now you look at Lamar, and it's even like now I would say worse but better, I guess, like because he does get the ball downfield pretty quickly. But it's like you know, like what about you? So now you have your running backs in there like twiddling their thumbs and you know, like so uh, can we get the ball? No, okay, no, that's fine, that's cool, no problem. So um, I don't know. They got to figure all that out with Lamar and his team, especially going against somebody like I said, what's it called? I can't even think. I'm so sorry. Against the Chiefs, I would say, and then also just saw here about a few hours ago, the Giants have signed Alfred Morris and Clayton Thorson, quarterback Clayton Thorson, to I think their practice squad. So Alfred Morris could be another running back in that system they're trying out. We'll see what happens there. And
No, that was week 3.
yeah, that was week 3. All right, and um, going off week 3, I would say the top two teams I'm looking at in the AFC and NFC. I'm just gonna go out and say it right now because it's been 3 weeks. I'm gonna start doing top teams in each division. And right now, top two leagues, in my opinion, are the Seahawks, being unbiased, and the Bills. Those two teams are very hard to contest against right now. Seattle somehow is getting it done on defense. I still believe they need to work on it quite a bit, especially with Jamal Adams possibly being injured. I think they need to go out and find some better cornerbacks and stuff, but apparently they're stepping up doing what they can. So I would say definitely Seattle still, though, with that D line and Russ Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Ridiculous team right now. And then on the other side, Josh
I mean,
Allen. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna have to go with Kansas City for sure
Kansas City. Okay. No,
on the side.
I totally understand that. Like I said, reigning MVP, or reigning Super Bowl champs. Mahomes still looks good. He's still playing like Mahomes would. He Edwards Hilaire, fantastic rookie, subbing in for Damian Williams, who doesn't want to play this year. But you know what? Edwards Hilaire said, "Let me add it," and just been dominating. Um, and you got I mean, obviously all their receiving core, including the tight end, just on fire. McCole Hardman, Travis Kelsey, Demarcus Robinson, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins when he's healthy. Just the deadliest of the deadly hands. So I can see that. But for me, I like the Bills because Josh Allen is just he's just playing so damn well. He's destroying. He's picking apart these defenses. Stephon Diggs is whatever he's doing on his routes, he's doing correctly because he is getting that ball in his hands and making some amazing catches. And just Bills are just looking really good this year. That's all. And so there's all that for week 3, ending that. So now we're gonna go through and we're gonna talk about these week one highlights. So, or week, I put the week one. Sorry, it's week three highlights. We're done with week one. I read that wrong. I just realized. I realized what I said. I was like, oh. So, week three awards. Oops. So, for me, oh yeah, that's right. I was about to ask you. So I couldn't really figure out an idea for the offensive player of the week, but we have our guy here, Mr. Chief, who after watching him play said, "No, this is the guy right here." So you know what? I agreed with him, and our offensive player of the week is gonna have to be.
Oh, geez, you caught me off guard. I forgot who I picked now.
Oh, Mr. Dalvin Cook.
Thank you. Yes. I was thinking, nope. I was thinking it wasn't. I thought it was Green Bay for a second, but nope. Yes, Dalvin Cook really stepped up. I mean, I would have liked a couple more touchdowns out of him, but I mean, still ran for almost 200 yards. I mean,
almost 10 yards a carry.
That's a great game.
Exactly, like 22 for 180 yards. Like I said, almost like getting a first down every time he touched the ball. Just ridiculous numbers for Dalvin Cook. Like I had to agree with him on that one. And for me, I found defensive player of the week like right away when I was looking at stats. Eldon Smith, who, if you guys don't remember, was a Raider for a while and a 49er. Like hell of a player. Had a lot of issues with alcohol though throughout his time. Was out of the NFL for a bit. He's back with Dallas, and he had 3 full sacks against Seahawks this week, which going against Russ Wilson and trying to get those 3 sacks, that's still difficult to do, especially with Russ. And he went and got 3 full sacks with 4 tackles. Just ridiculously getting after the quarterback, and you know what? Just respect him coming in and saying, you know what? I still play. I got this. Great game for him. Great game. Now for me, I would say, unfortunately, we're gonna have to. Oh, I guess like we still have one more actually. Rookie of the week. Shoot, I don't even know. I mean, like I could say Burrows again, but I feel like that's not really. I don't think I'm gonna put Burrows this time. How did What about Patrick Queen? How did he?
I personally, I mean, Patrick Queen did all right. I mean, I definitely got to give it to Burrow though. He is stepping up as a quarterback, but his team just isn't. But I don't want to say they're not rallying behind him. They're just not making it work.
I get that. That makes sense. And for me, I gotta give biggest bust of the week. It's gonna be 2 weeks in a row. Just because, I mean, it was a replay week. Let's just put it as is. Atlanta Falcons biggest bust of the week with a replay of having a lead 26-10, 16-point lead in the fourth quarter, giving it up, letting the other team win, starting the season 0-3 off some amazing starts that just crash landed horribly for us to watch. So, moving on, we have our week 4 predictions. Okay.
I would just like to say last week I did go 11-4
Nice.
in predictions.
I went shitty. I probably.
Oh wait, 11-5.
I had a lot of underdogs. So I was hoping that we're gonna win, and they did not. So I went shitty. 3-0. Yep, that's right. Rooster Steelers are 3-0. Big Ben still stepping up, saying where he could. So first, we have Thursday Night Football coming up in a couple days, and it's the Battle of the Bummies. We got the Broncos versus the Jets.
Someone is getting a win.
Someone Someone's gonna change that donut to a maple bar.
Well,
I'm just
actually,
gonna.
I can't say that because I said that last week and it ended in a fucking tie. So,
Let's say it again this week. I want to see how are the Broncos going, the Jets going to tie. Let's watch, okay? Because either they're going to go change. Someone's going to change a donut to a maple bar, or they're each going to get a maple bar in the wrong column. And I want to see what happens.
I
And
mean, I definitely think the Jets stink. So,
Roosters giving it to the
I mean,
Jets. I
giving it to the Jets. Nah, I'm on Broncos this week. Broncos got my pick.
it's just such a yeah. I as much as I gotta give it to Driscoll. I think Driscoll's going to get better numbers. I think he's gonna put up and do more for even as a backup for the Broncos than Darnold will. I'm sorry, I have no faith in Darnold. I really don't. And so I'm gonna go with I'll go with the Broncos as well. We'll see, Rooster. We'll see what happens though. Ooh, we got the Colts versus the Bears. We're going with the Bears.
Bedtime.
Bears. If you had
All right.
53 little mini
You,
Ditkas on the field against the Colts, who would
you,
you pick? Oh, easy one third time. It'd be a 53-0 the Bears. The Bears.
the Bears.
Nick Foles coming in, starting quarterback. 3 touchdowns last week, easy enough. Going against the Colts, who have actually a pretty decent defense, but with Nick Foles starting at quarterback finally, I'm a Nick Foles guy. I'm going with Nicky. He's got this. Let's go. Philip Rivers, eat your heart out. You're not gonna do well. We got
All
the
right. This was a tough one for me.
the
This next one.
Jaguars and the Bengals. Oh, because I like the stash a lot, but I want Burrows to get his first win for God's sakes.
Yeah. I
Just
mean,
to
I did inevitably go Jags. I still can't bet against that mustache, but
yeah, I
Roosters going Bengals.
Rooster's going Bengals. I don't blame you, Rooster. I want to go Bengals so bad. I want to give Joe Burrow his win, but I gotta go with the Jags because Robinson at least can run the ball, whereas Joe Mixon is too busy getting fucking pedicures and then running the ball for like 2 yards a carry, going back to get his fucking pedicures and fucking you know whatever else he's trying to get done, like some expensive shit, like oh don't touch me, I have my new lotion on. Like get the fuck out of here, okay? So I'm about to go with the Jaguars. Minshew's gonna light them up, and then Robinson's gonna get a couple of running touchdowns. I think we got Browns versus the Cowboys. Brown Town gets Cowboys. I'm going with Cowboys. I'm sorry. Like again, I have no faith in Baker Mayfield. Their defense is strong. I think they're gonna get after Dak. I think they're gonna get after Zeke. But all in all, when it comes down to who's gonna get the most points, I gotta go with the Cowboys.
I gotta go with the Cowboys as well on this one. I just don't see the Browns
Woo!
being consistent this year, and the way that Dak is playing, I mean, it's
Rooster went with the
not
Browns.
bad.
Wow. We're just backwards with you there, Rooster. Okay, okay. No, I definitely, like I said, if they had anyone else at quarterback besides Baker, I would choose the Browns. But honestly, like I have like their defense is well enough they could like stop the Cowboys and just win by like a field goal, which would I would totally see. And but like unfortunately, like I said, the Cowboys offense has been pretty productive, especially Dak leading the league in passing yards. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Honestly, it's gonna be very interesting. We got the New Orleans Saints versus the Lions. Ooh, both teams are just not playing well. Drew Brees and the Saints don't look good. The Lions don't look good, but
I gotta give it to the Saints on this. I mean, I don't think either team is looking their best right now, but I think the Saints are looking just a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it up to Kamara. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Kamara. I think Kamara's gonna run him up on the Lions. I feel like the Lions, especially after Dalvin Cook, the way he ran up on the Lions last week, I think that Kamara's gonna have a field day with the Lions defense next week. Cowboys suck. They will lose. I still don't like the Cowboys. That's not me saying I like them or don't like them or anything. Iverson, as an unbiased opinion, I have to say that my opinion states that the Cowboys will win. I'm just saying. Steelers, Titans. Gotta go with the Steelers, unfortunately, on this one. Tannehill's too flip floppy. I don't like the flakiness. I don't like how he's not playing like he did last year. But I mean, Steelers are staying consistent. James Conner's got the second 100-yard game last week. He looks good. If not, he has that backup that we like a lot too, Benny Snell and all of them. And yeah, I mean, I'm going with Steelers.
See, this is where I'm gonna have to disagree with you finally.
Okay.
And partially for my hate for Steelers, but also I think Tannehill's looking pretty good. I mean, he's not the most consistent. I mean, he's still throwing about 70% of his passes. Not terrible. I mean, but with you got Derrick Henry in the backfield. I mean, you know, I don't. The receiving could use a little bit of work, but I think they're gonna find a way to pull it together. I mean, this is one of those someone has to lose, and I think with as far as the Titans got last season, for them to lose would for them to lose would be a big morale wipe. I mean, the Steelers are looking pretty good, but I'm rallying the Titans this one.
Well,
Feeling this one in my gut.
I don't blame you for that, and I do hope that you're right because I love to see Tennessee win a game. Obviously, Rooster would be pissed because that's his team, but
Gotta
otherwise,
go
I
against the Roost.
honestly, if it was any other team, any other team but the top three teams in the AFC. Sorry, one of the top five teams in the AFC right now, which is the Steelers. I would say maybe, but going against the Steelers, I just see it. Yeah, I see. Yeah, run up or something. Unfortunately, so. And we got the Seahawks and Dolphins. I'm going with the Seahawks. I'm sorry. Again, not biased, but I mean Dolphins. They're playing better. Like definitely Fitzpatrick looks better the last couple weeks. Like coming out of the gate, like first week 0-3. 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Now throwing touchdowns galore on both the last couple weeks. But I feel like Russ is going to run up the defense. He's going to get a bunch of touchdowns. They're going to get plays done. It's going to be a decently scored game, but it's going to be it's a decently scored game, but it's going to be Seattle pulling away. I think.
Yep, I agree with you on that one. I think the Dolphins are looking good, but once again, Seahawks are looking a little bit better, and or a lot of bit better in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a complete and utter, you know,
Devastation.
complete and utter demolition, but it's not going to be a good day for the Dolphins.
Yeah, still be a great game to see the Dolphins pull away. I mean, even if they beat the Seahawks, I'm not going to be upset. I'd be like, whoa, Fitzpatrick really means business, and it'd be super cool to see. Fitzpatrick wins the Super Bowl with the Dolphins and then says, "I'm out. I retire." That'd be a way to
Done.
go. Like, that would be awesome. Travelman's journey ends in Miami, first Super Bowl win in forever, and he says, "I'm done." Los Angeles Chargers and the Buccaneers. Oh, Lordy. I'm going to go. Oh, that Chargers defense. This is where it's a tough one because obviously Tom, I feel like is a better quarterback than Herbert, but yeah, I just that defense with freaking what's his name Desmond King and I think Verrett and like all these like basically their whole secondary is packed. Casey Hayward Jr. And they have linebacking sorts and stuff like that too. But it's like I don't know. I'm about to go with the Bucks. I'm about to go with the Bucks.
Yeah, I did go Bucks as well.
I just like
Think.
Herbert's gonna have a great time. He's gonna do what he can against the Buccaneers, but yeah, it's gonna be a close game.
Absolutely. Ravens, Washingtons. Being biased, but also not. Ravens all day.
Being biased, but also not completely. Washington, who's what 1-2 right now, 0-3.
Yeah. 1-2.
1-2, going against the Ravens, who are 2-1 in a very oh my goodness. Yeah, I would after throwing 3 picks against the Browns. Like, we'll see what the Ravens can do against Haskins. Yeah, it's gonna be a oh my goodness. Basically, yeah, Ravens all the way. I'm sorry, Dwayne Haskins. I'm sorry, all Washington players. Cardinals and Panthers. I'm gonna have to go with the Cardinals on this one. Even though Kyler Murray had the game he had last week, I think he's gonna turn around and really focus on getting the ball to his receivers this week. Um, and then Teddy Bridgewater in Carolina. I still like him. I still want to see him do well in Carolina, but I don't think I've seen enough of him like really doing anything spectacular. So yeah.
Yep, I'm with you on that one. I don't see the Panthers really performing too well. You know, Teddy Bridgewater still. Is he going to be out again? Pretty sure.
McCaffrey, I think, is still out until like coming up week.
Oh yeah, with McCaffrey.
Yeah,
Yep.
Bridgewater is still in, but like I said, I have faith in him. It's just he needs to get that offense down pretty quickly and figure out who he wants to get the ball to sooner and all that good stuff. We got Vikings and Texans. Phew, another ouchie kind of game.
Someone's gotta win.
Turning those donuts to maple bars, boys. Let's go. Okay, I'm thinking the maple bar is going to go to Houston this time. Oh, Rooster went Minnesota. I had
I'm going Minnesota as well.
I'm going with Deshaun. I'm going with the Texans. I'm gonna go with the underdogs again. None come on, let's go. Like I don't even care about Bill O'Brien. I just care about freaking the team, like as a whole. But oh man, that O line is so bad in Houston though. They need to fix that so quick. You know what? I revoked my pick. It's going to Minnesota again because that's the way they played this week. With Dalvin Cook and with Kirk Cousins, and the fact they have an O line against the Browns who don't, or the Browns, Texans who don't. Browns kind of do. Actually, Browns have a really good O line, but Texans who don't. Texans are probably going to lose because of that. And Minnesota's got a pretty deadly defensive line, if I remember correctly, too. So, uh-oh. Giants, Rams, Knicks. Just kidding. I see the Rams beating the Giants. What do you see?
Yep, Rams as well.
Mm-hmm.
Giants stink.
Giants,
And
Giants, Giants.
that is a non-biased opinion again, if that's what you want to call it. But I just don't see the Giants pulling out a win. Just period.
I agree with you, and 100%. Yeah. I mean, we already said we had to about the Giants. I'm just leaving that alone. Patriots Chiefs. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that matchup a lot. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs though, because Cam Newton, as well as he does with that team, I feel like Mahomes is gonna get the win just because of the more yardage he's gonna throw than Cam Newton will. and Edwards-Helaire is going to run them up on the defense.
Yep, absolutely. I think Edwards-Helaire is gonna blow a hole through that fucking defense.
Mm-hmm.
And just, or Patty Mahomes with his throwing. I don't know.
What's
Don't know if they're gonna be able to.
Prevex? Welcome, my guy. Bills versus Raiders. Oh god, that's a tough one because Raiders are playing really good ball right now. Oh man, that's a tough one because
Yeah, Bills.
Yeah,
Bills are looking damn good.
The reason why it's hard for me, not because I don't want to choose the Bills, I just don't know which one to pick because the Bills have a great offense. I'm not sure about the defense per se, but the Raiders have a good offense and their defensive players are pretty good. John Abrams, the safety they have, is really dangerous. Like he is like almost like a younger Earl Thomas like looking kind of thing. Like he just deadly. Like hopefully the Broncos win so the Jets can get a new head coach. I like that. I like that you're trying to plan ahead for that. There, Prevex. Like, you know what, Broncos, let's go. I want to get a new head coach. You know, they're not Oakland. Oh yeah, I know. Las Vegas Raiders. You're right. Sorry, I said Oakland, didn't I? Las Vegas Raiders, but they've been playing well. Like I said, they've been playing really well, defensively and offensively. Um, I think it's gonna be a close game. I'm gonna give it to the Raiders though on this one. I'm gonna say that the defense holds off Josh Allen for a little bit, but I could be wrong. I don't mind being wrong, but I'm just gonna give it to the Raiders because of what I've seen from their defense so far. I still like the Bills. I still think they have a chance. It's just it's such a hard choice to make. Eagles, Niners. With the injuries going on and stuff. Oh, oof. I want to say
See, I got my money on the 49ers.
if Philly benches Wentz for Jalen Hurts, I'm gonna say Philly. But if Wentz is starting and playing this week, I'm saying the Niners too. Just because Wentz is Mr. Turnover himself this year. So yeah. So yeah, exactly. I say Niners. Like I said, depending on who's starting quarterback, I'm gonna say Niners if it's Wentz. I'm gonna say Philly if it's Jalen Hurts that starts. And last but not least, Monday Night Football, Falcons versus Packers. um, it's good. Go ahead, Chief.
I mean, don't you dare doubt Aaron Rodgers. It's just Aaron Rodgers. He's.
I mean, true. You right on that. I was more kind of worried about You never know. Falcons may take the lead though. They may carry the lead to the third quarter. You just never know what's gonna happen though.
Then fucking blow it.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers has to have some decent comebacks in his career. I mean,
They've blown two 15-point or higher leads this season in like the third or fourth quarter this season already.
Well,
We have played 3 games.
Yep, and I think it was like not the first one. It was the first one the Seahawks just freaking dominated them. The second one they lost by 30 points in the second quarter. Like the second half, the second half they gave up 30 points. In the last game they gave up 16. They gave up 20 points last week. So it was actually they gave up 50 total points in the second half of 2 weeks. So 25 points per game per half, which is ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. So, yep, I believe in the Rodgers. I believe in the 4-0 Packers. It's gonna happen. Boom. And that concludes that. That was fun. I had a great time, guys. Definitely enjoy talking about this stuff with you guys all the time. Love to hear you guys come back and say things like definitely thank you so much, Prevex and Rooster. Always love the feedback. Always love the guesses too. Like definitely definitely would love to see more of that next week as well, or after what happens this coming week. Um, definitely trying to get more people in here to enjoy this with, and just have the conversation with, because me and him will talk about this. But feel free to type in chat too, though. Like, like if you like hear us talking about the Steelers rooster, and we say something that's an opinion, like we have a certain opinion that you don't like, feel free to, not be like you're an asshole, but be like,
Let us know.
like, yeah, just let us know. Be like, well, I have to disagree because blah blah blah, and absolutely, I will discuss that with you anytime. Like, that's what I love to do. I love that, like, and not as long as it's not like a fair weather fan thing. Some people who just go, Seahawks are great. Why are they great? Because they're the Seahawks. Okay.
Because I've been watching the Seahawks since I was 3 years old. They're great.
Yeah, I've been watching since I was 3 too. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, my Seahawks are better than your Seahawks. They're the same team. But hopefully Heat win. You know what? Maybe Prefix. Definitely, I would like to see the Heat win over the Lakers, just because the Lakers are Lakers this year. But yeah, we'll have to see, man.
Oh, is Boston out?
Yeah, they lost the last game. Yeah, and then LA beat Denver. So yep. But yeah,
The
like I
Heat
said,
versus the Lakers. Interesting.
um, like I said, so this will be posted on YouTube here shortly. I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream so I can start downloading it and post it on the YouTube, and we can share it with the world and people. Definitely would love
The
your
two
guys.
of you.
Definitely would love your guys' help with sharing it, trying to get people to check it out, and also to join us like for weeks to come. Because once we hit the playoffs, that's gonna be some some fun times for sure. I'm just saying. So definitely feel free to check us out then. Feel free to you know stick around as well, because I'll be back in about only a couple minutes. That's so I can end the stream and then just restart on a game. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll see you guys in about a few minutes. Much love, guys. Thank you so much for being here again with me and your other buddy Chief, Mr. Chief Squatch.
Night, y'all.
Yes, sir. We'll see y'all in